Well, hello, my name is Anthony Sparkling. So I'm here to share with you the results and findings from my early career award in a brief summary. It's surprising to me that this research started almost a year ago when I received the award. And of course, I think we can all recognize that we were in a tremendously different time than we are today. Things are drastically have been changed and upset as a result of COVID. So this pandemic has definitely changed how we do things, but I'm still encouraged and I'm excited to share with you the findings. Um, so the title of this work was Harnessing Supervisory Knowledge and Experience in Electrical Construction. Again, what motivated this research is that we recognize that individuals have all of this tacit knowledge built up over time. It's experiential learning. But we recognize that 80% of our contractors, according to some research, says that they're having difficulty and challenges still filling those skilled trade positions out in the industry. This is as a result of the aging workforce. We've got a lot of people retiring. There's another statistic that says 41% of our current workforce will retire by the year 2031. This is a big problem that we need to be thinking about because there's going to be a shortage in the workforce and attrition is happening. We need to be able to capture all of this knowledge and information from these potential retirees before it walks out the door. That's a big concern for the industry. So then what we did with this is we developed a couple research questions, obviously, that we explored with this body of work. And that is, to what extent do supervisors really rely on this tacit knowledge dimension that they have? Secondly, what are some of those potential barriers to knowledge sharing? And really, do they agree between, say, is there agreement rather between management and field teams? Do they both understand what those barriers or limitations may be to sharing knowledge? Without going into great detail, I really encourage you to read the report or take a look at the report and reach out to me with questions. But there's this explicit versus a tacit dimension. There's a tug of war there. Explicit information, obviously, is all the information that we can see and it's captured. It's codified in documents and emails and manuals and etc. Whereas this tacit information is our gut, it's our intuition. These are those rules of thumb that seasoned supervisors and electricians execute on a day-to-day basis, right? Those superintendents, they bring these projects in based on these guts and hunches and things that they've done over and over again that makes their project successful. How do we capture that question, right? So that was really the motivation for this research. And to understand and assess this, we relied on two different things. We had structured interviews with some of the field personnel. So we visited a couple of job sites. We captured information using a formal questionnaire process. Then we also visited a couple joint apprenticeship and training programs and talked to some of the apprentices to understand their tacit knowledge usage. Meanwhile, we executed a survey. The survey was administered to management teams and field teams so that we can really start to rank and compare knowledge sharing barriers and limitations. So some of the key findings. So as a result of this kind of gauging the reliance of tacit knowledge among the field supervisors, we looked at about 25 responses from individuals. We, of course, did some type of analyses using regression, so on and so forth. And really what we were able to discern is that tacit knowledge usage really starts to show a drastic difference that was pretty significant between those individuals that had 20 years of experience versus those who had less than 20 years of experience. So again, now we're starting to see that maybe those apprentices are relying more on explicit information, whereas the supervisors are really relying on that tacit dimension. Again, the key question is, how do we transfer that knowledge and information? Some of the themes that came out of this body of work was that it's really just what the apprenticeship is designed to do, and that is to pair individuals with experienced supervisors on the job to help better give them this information through hands-on experiences and mentoring and observing what these seasoned supervisors are doing on a day-to-day basis. With respect to the barriers to knowledge sharing, we had about 67 managers participate and about 82 field personnel. Their observations were a little bit different in terms of what they perceived to be those barriers. Managers perceived lack of formal processes, maybe even the manager's resistance to change as being some of those challenges, whereas our field personnel thought knowledge sharing really happens and occurs during that day-to-day activity or transitions between activities. Even the lack in encouragement of management to share that knowledge. So we need to be mindful of those things moving forward. So really, again, to sum it up, check out the body of work. There's a lot of information there, some nuggets, if you will. But really, I think we all know that experienced supervisors really have to be willing and able to share that knowledge with the younger generation. We can't just supplant these individuals that come from a college program directly into these supervisory and leadership positions without recognizing that they don't have that built-up tacit information to really make informed decisions on a day-to-day basis. Other things that we can be doing to effectuate or encourage this knowledge sharing is to develop maybe even communities of practice, more storytelling, mentoring, socializing. Something I'd like to do in the future is see how we capture this information and move it into, say, a VR training experience or a mixed reality experience. So this is some of the things that I want to move this research forward with. So I hope you stay tuned. We work together to continue to build and leverage this collaboration. And I thank you for this Early Career Award and this opportunity. And I wouldn't be able to present these results and findings if it wasn't with the support of ELECTRI, the Joint Apprenticeship and Training programs that allowed us to collect the data, and my master's student, Priyansh Dagra. So with that, I thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all in person.